that I can't wait. Is it part of the MCU? Can you say like
Yes.
the Avengers world?
Yes.
Breaking news today, as actor Tyrese Gibson was found dead in his mansion today. Eyewitnesses say they saw a man posing as a plumber, Kevin Fagoli. If anybody recognizes this man, please call the number below.
Hey guys, thanks for clicking on this video. My name is Chris. I hope you're excited to hear some news on Spamic, as it's still called over at Sony Pictures. Specifically, Sony Pictures universe of Marvel characters, they are rolling on ahead with this solo Spider-Man world. Not too long ago, we heard that Aaron Taylor Johnson, who once played Quicksilver in the MCU, is now our Kraven the Hunter getting his own solo movie, and today they revealed who the villain will be for that film. Along with the recent interview that I just showed you guys of Tyrese Gibson confirming Morbius is in the MCU. Diving into all that, so be sure you guys are subscribing down below. I'm serious, I know there's someone out there who don't be subscribing and just YouTube's 3C Films every... Why would you do that, son? I could be right there in your inbox. Alright, so diving into it right here, this report comes from the Illuminati, who has become very reliable lately, especially when it comes to some of this Marvel news. They've gotten a lot of things right in the past. They were some of the first ones to talk about Knuckles being in the Sonic sequel. Even recently, when it comes to character descriptions in movies, like with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre reboot, they have gotten that stuff right. And now, right here, what they are saying is that Kraven Chameleon to be villain in intriguing new solo film exclusive. Saying here in their article, while the lead casting provided to be a surprise to most, we still wanted to learn more about the project, and we now know who Kraven will be going up against in the first solo film. Currently, Sony Pictures is targeting an actor in their 30s to play the villain role of the Chameleon. While we don't know if Chameleon will be the only adversary of Kraven, we do know that he will have a significant presence in the film. If you guys aren't too familiar, the Chameleon, I think, is a classic Spider-Man villain who, as his name would suggest, is a man who is a master of disguise, not necessarily with any superpowers, so he doesn't have any like shape-shifting abilities like Mystique. He just happens to be a really good prosthetic artist, voice changer, impressionist. The dude can disguise as anybody. Heck, he's even disguised himself as Spider-Man in the past. But probably the most intriguing part that I didn't even know about this as a Spider-Man fan is that the Chameleon in his early adaptations with Kraven the Hunter is known to be his half-brother. Now making it a lot more clear why they would include someone like the Chameleon to be the villain for Kraven, because, well, there's a relationship there. This is one of the things about this whole Spidey spin-off universe that has got me a little iffy, a little like, okay, is we have villains against villains when we really want to see Spider-Man go up against these villains. I still want to see Spider-Man hit up Tom Hardy's Venom or fight off Woody Harrelson's Carnage, especially Aaron Taylor Johnson's Kraven, kind of bringing to life Kraven's Last Hunt, that infamous story where he goes and faces off against Spider-Man. But putting that aside, as a Spider-Man fan wanting to see him interact with his villains, this could actually be a great opportunity. And the beautiful side of this Sputnik universe is that lower class villains that probably would not get their own mainstay villain film and would probably just end off being a side character with like 5 minutes of screen time in a Spider-Man movie can now have a bigger, fuller spotlight in stuff like Kraven the Hunter, because I think Chameleon is a cool character. Just the idea that this is a regular dude who's just really good at changing his voice, putting on these prosthetic outfits, and the way he is able to just cause havoc by impersonating another person, whether that's someone Spider-Man loves or the president of a powerful country. How creative they can get with this idea of Chameleon and someone who would be that good with that sort of power is pretty cool, and we're gonna get him shining way more than we would have if this was a regular Spider-Man movie. And the Chameleon has been a character that people have been wanting to see on the big screen. I remember way back when Spider-Man Far From Home was coming out, there was a Russian character by the name of Dmitri, and everyone thought it was going to be the introduction of the Chameleon in that universe. Who knows if maybe it was supposed to be, but last minute Sony decided to change things. Is like, we're going to hold off on that because we got other plans for Chameleon. So now knowing that this could be the main villain of the film, like the article even says, it might not be the main adversary. He could just be a sort of side character who's a big deal because it's Kraven's brother. Who knows if they're maybe working together in the film and then maybe there's a split in family, or this will be the main storyline here where we have flashbacks to them as kids, how they were happy, how they were brother-like, and then something happened that separated them and turned them into Vin Diesel and John Cena and Fast 9. Like, I'm down to see this Kraven movie. movie, but even with a villain like Chameleon attached and them going against each other, it doesn't have me nearly as interested as I was with something like Venom or the Joker. This film is really going to be a testament to how powerful are Spider-Man villains for them to get some box office success or even audience attention. That trailer is going to have to blow our minds, or Sony is just going to have to cough out however much cash to get that Marvel Studios logo to play in front of their film and just tell audiences, it's part of the MCU, y'all. But speaking now on part of the MCU, we recently had an interview done by comicbook.com with Brandon Davis, great guy, even though I don't know him. But he seems like a good guy. He was doing an interview where he was talking to Tyrese Gibson in promotion for Fast 9 since that movie is up and coming. And towards the end of this interview, he asked him about his involvement in Morbius. We've seen some set photos where Tyrese Gibson is part of this film. It's still kind of mysterious what his character is, whether he's some sort of vampire hunter or he's just a police officer that happens to go after Jared Leto's Morbius. But he asks him point blank about Morbius's involvement in the MCU, and this is what he has to say.
It's gonna be a long year, man, of a lot of magic happening out here.
That I can't wait. Is it part of the MCU? Can you say? Like
Yes.
the Avengers world?
Yes.
Now, a couple of things on that, okay? You gotta remember, this man has not gone through the rigorous Marvel training of hush-hush business, okay? He's technically a Sony employee and working on Sony movies, and you've seen how much crazy stuff has leaked out about Spider-Man No Way Home. I don't think the man has felt the wrath of a Kevin Feige yell, and it's probably why he's open to just say whatever he wants to. But at the same time, I don't want to be rude to Tyrese Gibson, but he seems like the kind of guy that if you ask him, who's your favorite Marvel character, Tyrese Gibson? He'd say Batman. I'm curious if this actor is even aware of what that means being in the MCU. He was probably on set and saw the same Spider-Man mural and is like, oh, okay, cool. So I guess we in the MCU, y'all. Or maybe he just don't give an F and is willing to tell the public the truth. I mean, this is the same man who has beef with The Rock. If you got beef with The Rock, man, you ain't afraid of death. I'm still going on my theory that this whole Sony universe is a separate Earth, and after we see Multiverse of Madness and Spider-Man No Way Home, we'll find a way to connect the worlds where Spider-Man will be able to travel back and forth to them, and that's where Sony will be able to pull Tom Holland into fighting Tom Hardy's Venom, maybe go ahead and interact with Kraven. Tyrese Gibson could be aware of this and is why he's saying, yeah, it's part of the MCU, but from all accounts that we've seen so far, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man suit, Tobey Maguire Daily Bugle logo, but Tom Holland villain Vulture, it's all but confusing, and this does not even make it an inch better. Well, surprise, surprise. Turns out Tyrese Gibson was full of it. We have here an update on the story right before I was about to hit upload on this video. I'm glad this came out. GameSpot actually went ahead and reached out to Sony to be like, yo, what's up? Tyrese Gibson just confirmed Morbius in the MCU. What do you have to say about this? And they were like, yeah, that Tyrese is a wild one. It's not in the MCU. It is part of their Sputnik universe, like I was telling you guys, SPUMC. Confirming even further, so the MCU is separate from the Sony universe. I still am telling you, though, they're gonna be connected, but separate at the same time. Like I was telling you, two different Earths, but because of the multiverse and all things exist in that world, they'll be able to connect. So not exactly in the MCU, but we know they're doing something somehow, some way. Still, that is all that we have going on right now in the Sony spin-off Spider-Man universe. I want to hear from you guys down below. How do you feel about the Chameleon looking to be the villain in Kraven the Hunter? Any theories to how that story would play out? Are you even interested in the Kraven the Hunter movie? And do you believe Tyrese Gibson when he says Morbius is in the MCU? Anything, everything, be sure to leave your thoughts down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Films and on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.